What I'm going to show you now is how to build an analytics dashboard using the Workplace. So if you click on the analytics page here, what you see is 4 different widgets showing totally different data on a single page. So at the top you see 2 examples of co-occurrence widgets, one looking at author versus author. So these are effectively participants in a Twitter conversation on the same tweets and how often they turn up together. And this one's author versus topic, so this is how often authors talk about particular topics. At the bottom we have 2 high charts widgets. These show different things as well. So on the left hand side you see the top 10 senders ordered by descending sender count, so descending documents, descending tweets sent. On the right hand side you see the top topics by topic count, descending as well. So I'm going to show you how to create this page. It's probably the most complicated page to configure in the Workplace, but actually it's not that complicated to do. So I'm going to show you how to create this from scratch. So big deep breath as I go and delete the analytics page. Yeah, so I've written down the settings, don't we? So create one called analytics. Give it a URL, because if you don't give it a URL it will all fall down and die. So / at the beginning, .html5 at the end. I'm going to go for a thin thick layout because I want to show you different types of high charts. I'm just going to show you the co-occurrence widget first so you can see it configured on the same page. So title is going to be author versus author on the first one, and the tuple, which I'll show you what that is in a minute, it's author versus topic, and the tuple is author topic. So these tuples are names of things returned by the search interface within the search results, but we'll talk more about that in a moment when I go through the search options for you. Now of course these are going to have to be linked. Now by default /v1/values, which is the thing that does co-occurrence lookups, only returns one tuple. However, what I've done is I've modified the search context so that one query can affect multiple tuple lookups. So I add a search context, add both of these to it, and I'm using not the default all options name, but I've got one created already called author topic, which is specifically for these co-occurrences. One thing I'm definitely going to have to do is change this. So I'm looking up values, I'm looking up co-occurrences. I then need to add 2 tuples. So the first tuple is going to be called author, and the second one is author topic. I also want this to be displayed on load, but let's just have a look at what that looks like now. So at the moment you'll get a blank page, which is a bit odd because you need to actually say, well, you need to go and do this lookup. So in order to do that, you go back, edit the page, and add an onload action. So you're going to find your search context, and you want to do a structured query. Structured query is the basis of all of the lookups when it comes to values, the way I've implemented it. So search context 1, do structured query, that's all you need to add in there. So I hit save, and there you go, lo and behold, you get the values. So you get author versus author with those, and author versus topic. You'll notice that these are clickable, so I've not configured that properly obviously, but if you have a search on the same page they will affect the search as well. So that's those. So now how does that work? Well, let's go and have a look at the search options. So there are 2 sets of search options here. Let me just load this up. So the options that we've just been looking at, so author versus topic are tuples definitions. So here's one tuple definition, and here's another one. So you see the first one is author versus topic. So we've got 2 ranges there. The first one is a path range index, and the second one is the topic, and we're limiting the values there to just 20 values. So it'll be the top, because it's done by fragment frequency, so it'll be the top 20. So it's typically done by descending. And the same here for author versus author. So again, we've got the author range, and again we've repeated the author range, so we have a two-way co-occurrence. You don't have to limit it to 2, you could have 2, 3, 4, 5, however many you wanted on this, which opens up interesting possibilities for charting in the next version of MLJS, but more on that later. And then you've just got standard query in options down there. So that's how they effectively generate this. So it's pretty straightforward really. And now what we need to do though is we need to go and create some high charts. Now by default what you want to do is you want to use the facet mechanism in search to return the values that you're interested in. However, the facet mechanism will return all facets by default. So all facet values, even if there's just one there, even if there's 10,000 or a million. So you want to go and limit that. You also want to go and order that. So if we have a look at the all options here, we see we've got sender and topic, and I'm limiting each facet to 10. We're using frequency order descending to make sure we get the top 10, the ones with the biggest frequencies, and that's what we want to do. So that's in the all options. If you want to know how to upload these things, it is in the 001 initial setup video, but I'll just show you it quickly here. So in order to add one of these particular things, you just run this command, add searchoptions.sh all.xml XML, and that is in the folder where your application lives, basically. So there you go. If you can ever get a black background, that will work. There you go. So you've got some all options and the author topic options in there. And it's just basically the same directory that your web server app's in. There's this script called add search options, and you give it the name of the search option, so all or author topic, the file, which I've given the same name, and the file type, which, because I've got an extension, it's the same. So it looks a bit redundant, but it is necessary because you can call these files whatever you want. So once you've uploaded those, what you need to do is go and configure this page again and add more search context. I'm going to use 2 separate search contexts for the remainder. So let me go and create a second search context. I'm going to leave that as default because I'm going to use the all options. I'm not going to link it to there. I'm going to use the search endpoint because I'm actually doing a search. So if I go to widgets there, I'm going to drag on a high charts widget here. And what I'm going to do here is give it a chart title of top topics. That's going to be topic. That's going to be count. I'm going to make this a column. So those from the UK, column are the vertical columns, bar charts horizontal. So just be aware, I think in the UK we call them all bar charts. Name source for this is just going to be what I type in, so it's going to be topics. I'm going to set auto categories because that'll figure the categories from the value here. Category source is going to be the facet called topics. No, sorry, topic. Just double check that against my cheat sheet. You can't see me looking. Yeah, so call it topic. Doesn't matter what you call that. And then again, facet topic. Now the reason this is duplicated is because if you use JSON or element key there, you're going to want to split down the values. This doesn't really mean anything for facets, but I just like to set them as that anyway. I'm also going to add another high charts widget here. I'm going to have this as a bar chart so it fits in this shorter column. I'm going to call this top senders. I'm going to leave the X and Y thing. Bar chart, add a data series. Again, the first one's going to be fixed because I'm hard coding it. So I'm calling it senders. Sender. Facet, the facet name is sender. The value is a facet with exactly the same name. So this is where it gets the count from, this is where it gets the name from, so it's the facet name in this instance, the facet count in this instance. I'm just saying count just to remind me how I've calculated that. So I've added those. If I go back to context and click on search context 2, you'll see that after you add a search context, any new widgets automatically get added to that context. And I think for my needs I can actually register both charts quite safely with the same search context. So I could create a third one just to make sure that they were totally independent, but because I'm not doing anything weird and wonderful, I'm just searching the same tweets, I can keep it as that. Again, I want to make sure that this refreshes on page load, so I'm going to add another page load action, which a little buget I have to save, then come back in. So you see that at the moment the high charts don't load anything because we've not told it to. So on here, search context 2. This is do simple query. Just leave it as that, hit save, and there you go. So you got author topic, and then at the bottom, if you mouse over, you see these guys are senders, and you see exactly how much they've sent. So you see what we've been following there. So hopefully you've seen the power of Workplace and how it can quickly create an analytics dashboard. Thanks very much for your time.